Granny smokes the cocaine just like she used to do. So I figured I would hook her up and make a buck or two. It's been almost 2 weeks now, I have not seen a dime. So I called her up this morning and she handed me this line. She said, "Boy, have you learned your lesson yet? Never do business with your family, you'll live to regret. Boy, don't you know this much, by God? Granny can't afford to smoke no rock." Have you learned your lesson yet? Never do business with your family, you'll live to regret. Boy, don't you know this much, by God? Granny can't afford to smoke no rock.
Bouncing, those donkey balls, looking for a place to land. Bouncing, left and bouncing right, looking for a stupid grin. Open your mouth, 'cause here they come. You're a dead man walking, 'cause they don't want you no more. Your coaching skills are suspect, and your wife's a street walking whore. Oh, bouncing, 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 right, looking for donkey balls are bouncing all around. Bounce up, bounce up, bounce up, up. Those donkey balls are bouncing all around. Those donkey balls are bouncing all around.
Sucky Sucky was the headline when your team got squashed. The other coach laughed and said your team sucks balls. They fucked you hard up and down the field, made you look like monkeys fucking a hole on the hill. Those donkey balls are bouncing on your chin again. You'll probably lose your job before the weekend ends.
Everybody wants to scratch an itch, but nobody ever wants to feel this wrath. Does anybody want a bag of rich in the cold moonlight? Everybody wants to smack a ditch. Life's a twisted plot, call it a glitch. Time to flex, no more being rich. Snitches acting funny, man, they switch. Streets are cold, gotta stay thug. People playing games, they pull a rug. Talking big, but they just above. Ballin' hard while they tryna plug. Smack a niche, reality's a bitch. Life's a dirty game, scratching that itch. Every day grind like we in a pitch. You either rise up or you end up in a ditch. Haters hating hard, but I'm on my grind. Stacking paper while they falling behind. Got my crew tight, we ain't never blind. Flexing on the haters, we a different kind. Spit 5 flames, yeah, we in the booth. All these fake thugs just hide the truth. Chillin' with the real, we ain't got no sleuth. Keep your head high, show 'em what's the proof. Smacking off the podcast, coming at you from the downside. You want a ride or do you running high? Smack a niche, reality's a bitch. Life's a dirty game, scratching that itch. Everyday grind like we in a pitch. You either rise up, or you end up in a ditch. Smack a niche, reality's a bitch. Life's a dirty game, scratching that itch. Everyday grind like we in a pitch. You either rise up, or you end up in a ditch. Haters hating hard, but I'm on my grind. Stacking paper while they falling behind. Got my crew tight, we ain't never blind. Flexing on the haters, we a different kind. Spit 5 flames, yeah, we in the booth. All these fake thugs just hide the truth. Chillin' with the real, we ain't got no sleuth. Keep your head
Snacking off the podcast is preparing for you. Or are they getting high? When will this podcast start? You probably know more than I. Smacking off the podcast is preparing for you. Or are they getting high? When will this podcast start? You probably know more than I. Snacking off the podcast is preparing for you. Or are they getting high? When will this podcast start? You probably know more than I.
Your team is sucking donkey balls, big old hairy donkey balls. Bouncing, bouncing, donkey balls. Your coach is a clown. Your team is sucking donkey balls, big old hairy donkey balls. Bouncing, bouncing, donkey balls. Your coach is a clown. Team is sucking donkey balls, big old hairy donkey balls. Bouncing, bouncing, donkey balls. Your coach is a clown. Your team is sucking donkey balls, big old hairy donkey balls. Bouncing, bouncing, donkey balls. Donkey balls. Your coach is a clown. Your coach is a clown. Down the dusty road they roll, big and bold like they've gotta go. Bouncing high, then low, then gone. Where'd they go? Oh, hang on. Donkey balls bounce, they don't play fair. Up in the trees, now they're in the air. Scaring the kids, spooking the crows. Where they'll land, nobody knows. One hit the barn, made the rooster squawk. Another hit a car, set off the alarm clock. They've got no chill, they've got no louder than a hurricane. Round and wild, they own the night. Gravity's got no dog in this fight. Spin and tumble, a rebel's creed. They don't stop, they just proceed. Donkey balls bounce, they don't play fair. Up in the trees, now they're in the air. Scaring the kids, spooking the crows. Where they'll land, nobody knows. So if you see them rolling by, better duck or at least say hi. Donkey balls bouncing, causing a scene, the wildest show you've ever seen.
Sucky Sucky was the headline when your team got squashed. The other coach laughed and said your team sucks balls. They fucked you hard up and down the field, made you look like monkeys fucking a hole on the hill. Those donkey balls are bouncing on your chin again. You'll probably lose your job before the weekend ends. Hey, 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 I know it might sound gay, but your team sucks donkey balls again today. Sucky, sucky, sucky was the headline when your team got squashed. The other coach laughed and said your team sucks balls. They fucked you hard up and down the field, made you look like monkeys fucking a hole on the hill. Those donkey balls are bouncing on your chin again. You'll probably lose your job before the weekend ends. Hey, 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 I know it might sound gay, but your team sucks donkey balls again today.
Those donkey balls are bouncing all around. Bounce up, bounce up. Balls up above. Those donkey balls are bouncing all around. Those donkey balls are bouncing all around. Those donkey balls are bouncing all around. Those donkey balls are bouncing, making all a praise.
He would be so scared to see me.
Everybody thinks we was doing this shit, doxing motherfuckers. Nah, they came at us first.
I got a fire raging in my front yard.
Oh, why did you set your front yard on fire? Are you drinking again?
Slacking off the podcast. Fuck your city, dog balls. Because fuck authorities. Slacking off the podcast. Fuck your team, dog balls. Your columns torch authorities.
Back it off the park.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Smacking Off the podcast. What's up, Doug?
What's going on?
Red in Texas, brother.
You can hear me.
I can hear you, man.
Yeah, they fucked us over last week.
I know it's a sad day.
I think
But
it was
yeah,
you.
man,
I think it was actually you last week. I'm not positive though.
It was. And I thought I was on the show. And I thought I was trying to.
You were on the show, but you just couldn't hear anybody else.
Oh, goodness, that must have been embarrassing.
Hey, you know what? We could have just took a nap and let you go at it, and you probably would have went at it too, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I thought it was the right thing to do till I figured out what was going on, and then I eventually gave up on it.
It was the right thing, man. It was the government fucking with us again, is what it was.
Yes, but that's all right. We don't mind a little comedy here on the show, and our fans probably got a kick out of it based on the views we got.
What's going on, Ed?
I'm here, man.
You're here, and you're here for this big Michigan at Oklahoma game.
Yes.
Which we
here.
will have to discuss at some point, won't we, Sean?
Absolutely, guys. How we doing?
All righty, guys. And we got to discuss that, Sean. And also, Nikki's supposed to join us. She's coming home from her father-in-law's funeral. And then our special guest, Matt Brooks, should join us shortly. She wants to know the Dallas score. And, Sean, I got to go back to some of our pre-chat. And you were talking about Jalen Carter, right? And smart football. You want to elaborate on that?
He didn't even play it down. I mean, it was they kicked off, and then the two teams come out and they're waiting for the signal to play by the ref. And Carter just goes over. He's John with Dak Prescott, and he spit right in his face. And the ref was literally standing inches away and sees it, and just says, he gives him the old hit the showers early, buddy. You're ejected, and that's not a way to help your team win a football game when you're the key cog on the defensive line. So not a very smart move there. Didn't even play a single down from scrimmage, and he was already told to go take his shoulder pads off and get into street clothes.
I want to say one thing about this. I'm not saying Dallas will win. It's early. And I hate the Cowboys. And I'm not even going to give Jerry 1 ounce of credit for this. But I think Schottenheimer will be a better coach than people expect.
Are you talking about Marty's son?
Yeah, I think he has done a better job of installing a culture there than any other coach in recent history for Dallas.
Better than Jason Garrett, the mad clapper?
Yeah.
He's always smiling and clapping no matter what, good or bad.
I think, how old is Jerry Jones?
82, I think.
Well, if we do some simple math, say he was 21 in 1964 when he was a member of the national championship Arkansas Razorbacks. So 41, 84, 61, he's got to be in his 80s.
82.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, he's quite old, man. He's been searching for that Super Bowl, but he's like Mickey Gilley. He's looking for love in all the wrong places,
No, that's not Mickey Gilley. That's Johnny Lee.
Johnny Lee. Oh, yeah.
You remember that? Yeah, it just clicked in your face, Bob. I've seen it.
Yes,
the only reason I know that is because Urban Cowboy is one of the greatest love stories of our time. That's why.
Yes, that's how I remember it. It's from Urban Cowboy, and I got the wrong guy. But it makes me think of Jerry Jones.
Mickey Gilley was all over that motherfucker, though.
Oh, yes. It was his club.
Saquon Barkley, still great at football, by the way.
They kind of acted like that in the movie, Bob, but I think that it wasn't technically his club. They just put his name on it.
Yeah. I went to a couple of them in Branson, Missouri. I went to George Jones Club. But, yeah, back to your point, though, they just didn't have good sense, man. And that happens a lot in football. You expect idiocy like that in college. Now, I wonder if it cost him a game check.
That's a great question. I'd love to know. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a small fine from the league headquarters, Roger Goodell, saying no more of that.
It's a good thing.
I have a question. I mean, Jerry Jones can do whatever he wants, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why don't he name us? Is he too old to name himself coach at this point?
Yeah, I think that's
because I always heard that he had a real problem with the Jimmy Johnson years. because Jimmy Johnson was getting a lot of credit.
Well, he
That's
came
what
out
I've
and
heard.
said I could get rid of him and hire Barry Switzer and win a Super Bowl, and then he did that.
No, he did that. You're right.
I mean, most of those were players though that Johnson helped
Exactly.
draft.
Johnson built that team from a 1-15 Dallas club. I believe that's what they went the year that Johnson took over.
Yeah, I mean,
and I think they also went 1-15 the year before he took over.
The only one they had on that core roster before Jimmy got there was Michael Irvin. Michael Irvin was the only piece that was there before Jimmy became the head. But then Jimmy became it. They got Aikman in that draft after that first year. And then Jimmy told Jerry, hey, we got to trade Herschel Walker. And they were able to bamboozle the Minnesota Vikings into conditional draft picks with all the players they got back from Minnesota if they cut them. And Minnesota thought they'd keep the players that they got in the trade. And Jerry's, Jimmy's like, we don't want these bums, so we cut all of them. We get all those draft picks now. So they use
let me
those
see if I
draft
got
picks.
this. Let me see if I got this correct. Jimmy Johnson was Dallas Cowboys' second coach ever.
Yes,
is that correct?
That is correct.
That's fucked up sounding, isn't it?
So I think Landry had coached. Yeah, he coached the first 28 seasons of the Cowboys.
Yep.
And then Jerry bought the team, and they call it the Saturday Night Massacre because they got rid of obviously Tom Landry as coach, and then they got rid of Tex Schramm as the general manager.
Everybody was mad about that because they remembered those good years, but eventually you get too old to do that shit, right?
Yeah, Jim. The funny thing, Jimmy, is when he took over, after being hired, was, they had a lot of those aged, late 70s, early 80s Cowboys still on a team. He's like, you got 38, 40-year-old guys trying to do barrel rolls and bear crawls and gassers, and so we got to get some young talent in here. Nobody wants to see a 40-year-old Randy White doing barrel rolls and bear crawls and gassers at his age.
Who was the quarterback of I don't even know if you know this, Sean, but who was the quarterback of Dallas when Jimmy Johnson took over?
I know it is.
Was it still Danny White? Maybe.
I think you may be correct.
I think it was Danny Hogaboom.
Bob could be right. It was Danny something. I think.
It was Danny Hogaboom. Danny White. It was the year before then, right? And I think Danny White is the reason that they had to get rid of Landry because he was married to Danny White, and Danny White really wasn't that good considering the weapons that he had around him. He was a lot like Romo in that he didn't really accomplish anything meaningful as quarterback of the Dallas, but he was highly overhyped. And I feel
and in those years, those last few years with they were getting embarrassed by, they had the 44-0 beat down by the Bears in '85. And then in '86, you had the Giants, who were in their own division with Parcells, beat them up. Then the next year, Joe Gibbs in Washington beat them up. And, so they were quickly starting to fall into the cellar of that was the old NFC East that had, you had Dallas, you had the Eagles, the Redskins, the Giants. And then strangely enough, you also had the Arizona Cardinals in that division as well. That was when it was the East, Central, and West. But, they were falling far, far behind. And the crazy stat that Jerry said when they bought the team from Bum Phillips, or Bum Bright, was he was losing $1 million a month. Because, Bum Bright owned all those banks, Texas Bright Bank. And they were hemorrhaging in the late 80s from the savings and loan situation there in the late 80s.
I remember that savings loan debacle.
So Jerry buys the team, and then not only pay for the team he bought, but you're losing $1 million a month in lost revenue. So it was a whole, credit to them. He hired the right coach. He's a smart businessman, so he got, endorsements and whatnot. They had great success, but at some point there in 94, 95. There's a falling out between Jerry and Jimmy. And then Jerry, thought, well, this can't be that hard if Jimmy was able to do it. And so I'll just be the general manager and, I'll make the player selections. But you saw once Jimmy Johnson's players started to kind of age out there, that team went downwards. And now, I think the Cowboys, at least in the NFC, I think they have the longest drought right now in the NFC conference of going not only to the Super Bowl, but going to the NFC Championship game. I think it's been since 1996 or 7.
It's amazing that Arizona has had a more recent Super Bowl run than Dallas.
That's right. Yeah, with Kurt Warner there, 2007 or 8, I think. They lost to the Steelers. Yeah, even the woeful Arizona Cardinals have been more recently to a Super Bowl than air quotes America's team. Who else? There's usually Tampa Bay's been to a Super Bowl more recently.
The Bengals, if you go AFC.
The Bengals have. Even the Raiders. My Raiders stink, and they've been more recently to a Super Bowl. But Jerry owns the team, and it's going to be his way or the highway, and it's too bad for Cowboy fans.
Now, what do you think will happen when Jerry passes?
Well, he's got 3 children, and supposedly he wants them all to take over, the team and run it. And I will say this: when he lets his one son Steven make draft picks, Steven's a pretty sharp guy. I mean, Steven was the one who told Jerry not to draft Johnny Manziel, instead draft Zach Martin out of Notre Dame. And Zach Martin will likely be a first ballot Hall of Famer at the guard position.
This sounds like a bad episode of The Righteous Gemstones there, Sean.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, but Jerry, lives for, he's the only owner I know that really does a press conference after every game. It's like, I don't think of any other team I can think of on regularity that happens.
Oh, we have Mackenzie Brooks has joined us of the Mac Truck Podcast. How you doing, Mackenzie?
Listen, Dr. Balls, I'm great. Thanks, y'all, for having me. It's Cyhawk Week, so let's chat.
Let's do it. Now we're on right now. I think, aren't the Cowboys your team?
Yeah, and they're playing right now too. So
Yeah.
I know this is the most inopportune time, but I love it. So let's do it.
That's all right. We're talking Cowboys this minute. And we were just on Jerry Jones and his influence on the franchise, and whether or not it's been positive or negative over the last, say, 20 years. What do you think?
Definitely a mix of both, but I'd say more negative as of late, especially because they came out with, he did the interview with Stephen A. Smith. Then, Mike Parsons did a little bit of an interview with some people from ESPN. Basically, Jerry Jones was just like, I offered him the highest non-paid or non-quarterback contract. And I'm sitting here like, if you did, he would have taken the contract. So there's no way you actually offered him that much. Now, what Green Bay offered him, which was 4 years, $188 million with $120 million guaranteed, that is, I believe, the second or third highest non-quarterback paid contract, with Myles Garrett's being, I believe, number 1.
Yeah, impressive. I mean, that's a lot of money. But he wants to be the highest paid player in his position. But that can change rapidly. But he's been a hell of a player, and it's undeniable.
Right, and I think it's a like, you could have picked any other blessed team than the freaking Green Bay Packers. However, I think it absolutely elevates the Packers, but it also elevates Dallas, because now you have to see if you can, continue to operate on defense. And from what I've been seeing so far, Dallas is looking pretty good just from the first couple touches, first couple offensive series on defense. I need those linebackers to close the gaps and holes. There's no reason why Jalen Hurts just ran for a touchdown or ran for a first down in a wide open space. But first game kinks, but we can't be having it all season if we think we're going to do what we want to do. It's just me though.
But that is what Michael Parsons can do for you, is make the right decision off the read option. And that's underrated. There's a lot of athleticism at linebacker across the league, but the ones that can make the right decision on top of having great athleticism are dominant players. So we like
Absolutely.
that. All right. So what are we ready to talk about the games of the week, Doug?
Let's go ahead and how long can you be here, Mac?
I really would love to enjoy the rest of my NFL game, so I can probably give y'all like 15-ish more minutes.
Yeah, let's just go ahead and let's talk about the game with Mac. We'll do the games after she's off.
Killer. So we're talking about Cyhawk. That's a great rivalry, and we're excited to see it. And I'm looking at it, and it looks to me like Iowa State is favored, but I don't know about this game here. Iowa's been known to win when they're not favored, and vice versa. Anything could be happening in that game. So, what do you think? What are you going on it, Mac?
So naturally, being a former Hawkeye myself, diehard, anybody that knows me knows I'm a ride guy for the black and gold, but I also watch a lot of other football, which also includes Iowa State. Iowa State has been favored the past couple seasons, and rightfully so. Iowa's quarterback play, for the most part, has not been there. We picked up Mark Gronowski, D2 champion out of South Dakota State University. Didn't have a great run last week, had in fact had a total of 44 yards completed with one touchdown, which is still favorable. I mean, first game jitters out the seat, your first game as a D1 quarterback, but you got to read your checkdowns. You got to read your offensive line. You have to take what Iowa State is giving you. Iowa State likes to try to guard everything super high with two-man safety and extra overhang look over the long, deep passes. So we need to start throwing underneath as far as like short digging ups, 5 to 7, 7 to 10, even 10 to 12, 10 to 15, but not too far out until we start to suck them in. The other thing is Mark Gronowski, because he is still a little bit younger of a quarterback in terms of big D1 play. Don't be forcing things into receivers. Like you have to give what is take. You have to take what is given to you. The same thing can be said for Iowa State. Rocco Beck is a junior going into his senior season. Took Iowa State to the Big 12 championship and took them to the Pop-Tart Bowl as well. Lost a lot of his receivers as well. Still has Carson Hansen in the backfield. Iowa State is at home. That's why they're favored by 3. That's because you can never, ever actually predict in this game. I don't give a damn who you are. If you know the history of the Iowa State game, or we like to call it the Iowa Super Bowl, that's what it is the Iowa Corn Cyhawk series, Iowa State versus Iowa. Iowa is and will forever be the older sibling, but Iowa State has given us a run for our money the past couple seasons. Even the 2 or 3 seasons that we've won back-to-back, Iowa State has made it a pain, and they will continue to do that because each year that Matt Campbell adds to his arsenal, whether it's coaching, whether it's we're changing something in the offense, he's not going away. Like Matt Campbell is one of the best coaches in college football. I don't give a damn what none of y'all say. If you actually watch football and you know the sport, Matt Campbell has rebuilt this program in less time than it took for it to have its demise. And Matt Campbell has also been on many NFL radars. He's been on many bigger name school radars as far as college coaching. So, and the same thing can be said for Kirk Ferentz, outside the fact that he's the longest tenured FBS coach in college football. Kirk Ferentz is also one win away from beating Woody Hayes' Big Ten all-time win record. They're both tied right now at 205. If Iowa can somehow find a way to go into Jack Trice Stadium at 11 a.m. on Saturday morning and get a win and walk out of there and could become 2-0, it's going to say a lot.
Hell yeah. Now, what do you think?
Iowa's won 7 of the last 9 in the series. So,
yep.
But it's been a lot of Iowa State in the last 3, 2 of the last 3. So. I don't know. I used to be able to count on Iowa winning this game no matter where the fuck it was.
Yeah, you can't, unfortunately, right now.
It's kind of turned in the last, like I said, 3 years. Iowa State taking 2 of the last 3.
And Iowa had a good win earlier this year. Their debut was pretty strong. Iowa State, I should say, had a great debut and gives good competition. So I found that interesting. But on the other hand, I think the Iowa style is good to play Iowa State with, to try to frustrate them and slow down the pace and stuff. And a lot of people hate that out of Coach Ferentz, but I think it's a great plan, especially if you think there's talent discrepancies on the line. In other words, if you could control the line on offense, right, then when you get down on defense, your guys are fresh and you could maybe do something. I think that's what I was probably going to do. And what do you think, Ed? You're a Big Ten guy. What do you think's going to happen in this game? Ed.
Ed's on the toilet.
Oh, he's on the toilet. Now we know that Sean's
I don't
got
really know that. But...
I was. Sorry.
Okay.
So
Okay.
Iowa tends to win the majority of these games, but I think that Iowa State's got a clear advantage at quarterback, so I'm taking them.
Well, see, now I think this is worth mentioning. Iowa State has not won back-to-back games in this series since 2011, 2012.
And they did win last year.
They did. So
It's not back-to-back,
They're
though.
going for
I
2 in a
will
row
leave it
here.
for-
That's interesting. What do you think, Mr. Devine?
And this one's in Ames, I believe.
Yes, it's at John Track Stadium.
Hey, don't give us your pick, but just give us some insight there, Sean.
Yeah, it's it's great that it's going to be on Big Noon kickoff. This is not for us here that are diehards, but I think for the rest of the country, this is an underrated rivalry. It's really good. It's been really good the last 10 years. In 4 of the last 5, it's been a single score game, for either team that's won the game. My question is, Iowa State's been playing since that long trip to Ireland where they played Kansas State and they played last week. Iowa had an easy win over an FCS opponent last week, and so you take what you can out of those games. But I think it's going to be tight, hard fought as always. It's a great game. I'm excited for it. I know it's in Ames, but Iowa's come out ahead in Ames numerous times. They almost a 20 game ahead in the whole series length. I think it's like 47-24 in favor of the Hawkeyes. Both great coaches, as Max stated. I love both Kirk Ferentz and Matt Campbell. I think they're both great with what they do and how they do it, and they run their programs great. I think it's going to be hard hitting as it always is. And to Ed's point, I do like the Iowa State quarterback a little bit more, but I do like the Iowa defense a little more than I like Iowa State's. And so my question, if Iowa can run the ball as they normally can do, I don't care really about what Vegas says. I'm not going to make a pick yet, but I think the difference in the game is going to be the Iowa offensive line against the Iowa State defensive line and the ability to rush the football.
Sean, I'm with you. I'm leaning Iowa. I typically always lean in Iowa in this series.
Well, the majority of the time we're right with Iowa because look at the series history. That's to say though. That just tells you how well Matt Campbell's done to make Iowa State way more competitive than they used to be many years ago in this series. So, and that's good for the series. I think it draws more attention, and I'm happy to see Big Noon there, versus somewhere else. I think this game deserves more pub. I think it's one of the great games we get annually, and thank God, even though the two schools aren't in the same conference, they somehow make it work, unlike other rivalries we've seen go the way of the dodo bird. So kudos to Iowa and Iowa State.
Absolutely. And now, Max, if you do the show, you've got to plug everything you're doing for all of our viewers.
That's fair. Well, and before I do that, I will say, and just in terms of like the Iowa quarterback situation, and obviously like if you know your football, you know your sport, all of us on here on this panel know our sport, know our team. We watch a lot of other teams. We've done the damn thing. Okay. Obviously you're gonna want to lean towards the quarterback that's got more experience with his team, with his offense, and in the same respect, you also have to kind of give reverence to Mark Gronowski. Yes, he's a freshman quarterback or a new quarterback coming into a completely different system, completely different school. But you can't snuff out the fact that he has 2 D2 championship rings. Rocco Beck doesn't have any rings. Hank Brown doesn't have any rings. K. McNamara, when he played, had 1 ring coming from Michigan and then couldn't stay healthy. It's always you always got to take into experience the different types of experience. And personally, I'm a fan of Rocco Beck. He's grown on me the past 2-3 seasons. I'm just like, this kid's gonna be nuts. And I mean, it also helps that his dad played in the NFL. He has that pedigree. He has that mindset. He has also that mindset with all the former coach, like the former pro style coaches and players on his team with Matt Campbell. But again, the same thing is also set for the Iowa Hawkeyes. Just like the mindset. The biggest thing for Iowa, this series is you're taking. Iowa is returning every single offensive lineman they've had for the past 4 years.
Gee.
Iowa State is returning 3 of the same 11, 3 or 4 of the same 11 from the past 2 years. You lose a bunch of linebackers to the NFL, you lose a bunch of your receivers to the NFL. Great, they're moving on, but now you have to see how you're going to be able to fare against a team from another conference, and it just happens to be your sibling team in the same name state, 2.5 hours apart in the opposite direction. With that being said, plug time. So for anybody that doesn't know me, my name is Mac Truck. I do have my own show called the Mac Truck Podcast. The Mac Truck Show, you can find it on the Tired Sports Network as well as Cumulus Media Des Moines Podcast Network. You can also find it on Apple Pods, Google Pods, pretty much anywhere you find your podcast as well. Facebook Live. Make sure you join the group. We have a Mac Truck Podcast group as well as a Mac Truck Podcast page. I have merchandise, all the things. And it's all sports from a female's perspective.
And we can find your radio stuff on iHeartRadio as well, right?
Yes, iHeartRadio as well. As far as like the live radio shows, I also do the live podcast and live radio show itself on TikTok Live as well. You can find me at Mac Truck with a princess crown and a punch.
Absolutely. And I got to say, to your point about the offensive line, to me, that's why I'm leaning Iowa, because I know that when Iowa's had an offensive line, that they're able to possess the ball for long periods of time and just basically grind other teams down to a powder. And I think that that's the only way that they can beat Iowa State. If they can establish a lot of scrimmage and run the ball, as others have said, then they've got a great chance in this game.
And I think
hey, Mac, I got a question for you.
What's up, Divine?
Who's toting the rock for the Hawkeyes now that Caleb Johnson's in the NFL?
Oh, Washington Jr. I can't remember what his first name is.
Yeah, okay, Washington. Okay, he's a very nice tailback. Okay.
Yeah, he's almost to a point. So it was almost to a point last year where him and Caleb Johnson were fighting for that starting position. If Caleb Johnson wouldn't have broke Brad Bank's record, I think Washington would have ended up with some of those starting snaps if Caleb Johnson hadn't gotten hurt. It's Washington. Terrell Washington Jr. is one, and because he's a running back wide receiver combo, and then Kamari Moulton.
Hell yeah!
Thank you. Yeah.
They're well experienced, and they got a great
how much this rivalry means. Living out here in the Bay, there was a great interview with Brock Purdy, and he said, you know who welcomed him to the team first with a gift? George Kittle with a Hawkeye jersey on his chair in the locker room. So yeah, this is a big.
And he burned it. He burned it.
Hell yeah, we like that. That's what we live for: controversy, rivalry, right?
Rivalries, baby.
Yeah.
Right, so Mac Truck, enjoyed the game. And
thank you guys for having me. Divine, Dr. Wallace, Big Doug, individuals whose name I do not know. Thank y'all for having me.
Oh, it's Ed.
It's
Ed, wake up.
Is that Ed Dingo?
Here.
No. Oh, wake up, Ed Hale.
He's a Michigan guy. You got to forgive him.
Thanks for joining, Mac. Good to hear from you.
Yeah, listen, guys. Y'all know how to find me if you want more Mac Truck. Make sure you follow everything Mac Truck. Just hit me up. I would love to come back on the show. It's been a long time.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
I love y'all. Appreciate it.
You too.
Talk to you later. All right, I'm running to a commercial, and then we'll come back soon.
Smacking off the t-shirt, smacking off the hat, smacking off the water bottle. Buy 'em or you're a dirty bitch. Smacking off merch is ready to go, so buy them or your wife's a dirty whore.
Don't be a dirty bitch. By smacking off merch at bonfire.com/store/smacology.
It's Dr. Balls, can you feel that sound? In the house, got the party going down. Where you at? Better step on the scene. We drop a rhyme sharp like a damn machine. On the mic, I'm the remedy, no need for a doubt. You feeling low? Let me show you where we at. Get the vibe. I'm the one you can trust. When Dr. Balls drops, you can't help but thrust. On the mic, I'm the remedy, no need for a doubt. You feeling low? Let me show you where we at. Get the vibe. I'm the one you can trust. When Dr. Balls drops.
You are now watching the Smacking of the podcast.
Oh, that's awesome, Doug. I love it. So we just had Mac Truck. It's so great of her to join us, long time contributor, right? And then we still got tons to talk about. Now, Nikki said she might join us later. She had some family stuff going on, and hopefully she does. So how are we going to let that influence our picks or the counting of them?
What are we letting influence our picks, Bob?
So if Nikki comes in late in the picks, right? Does that mean that her percentage, if she gets them all right, is higher than mine if I get one right and do the whole show?
I don't know about that. If she doesn't come in, I'm picking South Florida to win.
Yeah. There you go. All righty, guys. The games of the week, Doug. Now let's do this right. Here on Smacking Off, the games of the week. And Doug, I see you on top of it. You have the program that's near and dear to us, Illinois versus Duke.
Yeah, that's at least half a game.
It's half a game, guys.
Half a game, and it was a hard week. It really was. I started to go this week, and I was like, "Fuck that! Let's make Ed do it."
Make Ed do it. All right, Ed. There, give us your pick. Who do you got between Illinois and Duke?
Oh, I got Illinois pretty easily.
Hold on now, Duke's at home. Are you just dismissing that, Ed?
Yeah, because the Illinois is a significantly better team.
God damn it, Ed.
God damn it, Ed. He's right though. Is he not right? I mean, I don't want to run through the picks quickly, but I'd have to say that if Duke won this game, it'd be a pretty significant upset.
Hold on. Illinois has not run off Bielema yet?
Not that I'm aware of.
Still there. Yeah.
Yeah, he's still there. They like him there.
Yeah, they must. And I mean, in number 12, Illinois is a happy Illinois fan base.
Absolutely, they can live with that. He has to be good enough in Illinois. He don't have to be national championship quality, even though they've sniffed at it a little bit.
Oh no, Illinois hasn't sniffed at a national title in, gosh, probably the early 80s.
I'm talking
the early 80s.
They had some mid-sinking. I should have rephrased that. They had some mid-season rankings that were high enough to have them included in the CFP, and they later failed.
Oh, sure. Now that's true. That's usually Illinois gets tripped up somewhere along the way in Big Ten play. Shout out, rest in peace, Big Ten West football. We missed that. First one to 20 points wins usually. But hopes are high in Champaign this year with Bielema bringing back 13 returning starters to include starting quarterback Luke Altmaier, who, granted, again, it was a pay-to-destroy game last week against FCS opponent Western Illinois, and they covered the 45 points, winning 52-3. But Duke's not your typical rollover here, and they're at home at Wallace Wade Stadium. Their dynamic quarterback that they got, I'm drawing a blank on his name, but he looked pretty good for the Dukies last week. But Illinois is the more talented team on paper. And look at this, Illinois in the top 15. I don't think we've seen them in the top 15 since the Ron Zook, Juice Williams days there when they went to the Rose Bowl. And I think that was 07 or 08.
I could have sworn mid-season last year they were in the top 10 at some point. I'm probably wrong about that.
Yeah, they might have sneaked in there last year. And they ended their season on a high note, beating South Carolina and whatever that bowl is in Florida. I think it was, which the the corporate sponsors change and whatnot, but yeah, they barely beat South Carolina in that bowl game last year. So kudos to them. Obviously, Shane Beamer wasn't happy about some of the things that Brett Bielema was doing, but yeah, I'm with Ed on this one. I think Illinois. I don't think they blow Duke's doors off, but I think they'll get the job done.
There you go. I think that's pretty much how I see it as well. And as Ron Zook was another retread from Florida, right?
Yep.
So, so these guys that didn't make it the highest levels are retreaded directly underneath of them. So, but that seems to be working for Illinois. And like Doug says, that's good enough for their fan base. If you told me Kentucky was number 12 and would finish in the top 25, I'd probably be satisfied.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, lately Illinois has been, before Bielema really got them kind of rolling here, they've been mostly more excited for when Illinois basketball starts. So the fall has been fun these last couple of years for the Fighting Illini faithful.
Hallelujah. And it's beautiful in Champaign this time of year. So I got Illinois as well. Who you got, Dad?
I really want to go with the Blue Devils here at home, just to be the oddball, but I can't fucking do it. I'm just going to go with Illinois. Because anytime I've ever picked Duke in my recollection, I've regretted it every fucking time. It's possible I've hit on them at some point, but it was so long ago that
you didn't have them a couple years ago when Riley Leonard stunned Dabo Sweeney and the Clemson Tigers in the opener.
No, I don't think I did, but I should have. If they're gonna win, Sean, I never pick them.
That wasn't one of Dabo's bring your own guts games, though, so it doesn't count.
There you go.
Man, I really like this next game. I think I'm definitely going to watch this game.
Oh, this is a great matchup. Great matchup.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be entertaining, especially after Baylor lost to Auburn, which I found unexpected because I thought they were a better football team than that. And I don't really want to give Auburn any credit. And we knew SMU is on the rise, and they've got quite a bit of talent. And some of the transfer portal guys stayed, and they got a whole lot more. I mean, I don't really know how to pick this right off the bat, even though it's at SMU and they're ranked and Baylor's not. But it's still, I don't know if that's enough. So it's hard for me to pick. What do you think on it, Ed?
I thought we were still talking about Duke and Illinois.
No, we
You
moved
can't,
on.
yeah, do you have more to say about that game? Go ahead.
Go ahead, break it down.
Illinois.
Oh, Illinois, he says.
No. We are on the Baylor and SMU.
So this is an interesting game because Baylor was picked by some people to finish atop the Big 12 and by most people to be near the top. And they did not perform well in the opening game at home against an Auburn team that we didn't think was very good, but maybe better than we think, but we still don't really know much about Auburn. And they gave up 38 points, and SMU's coming in with a pretty good offense. So logic would say SMU wins the game, but I got a hard time thinking Baylor starts off 0-2 at home. So I got Baylor rebounding in a very close one at home.
All right. What do you think on this, Sean?
And my pick.
Hold on now, this is at SMU.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I feel the same way, Ed.
Ed.
I love how there's real crickets going on in the background.
I still think Baylor's going to find a way.
Okay.
Hallelujah. What you got on it, Sean?
Well, I mean, so Just a classic rivalry going back to the old Southwest Conference days, which you love. And crazy fact here: SMU hasn't beaten Baylor since before the death penalty. Baylor's win streak is at 13 in this rivalry.
Wow.
1989 to 2016 was the last time they played, but Baylor only leads the series 39 to 36 all
Shit.
time.
Goodness.
So at one point SMU
Yeah,
was
yeah.
way
If you
ahead
take
in the series.
you take the death penalty away in the 13 basically guaranteed wins Baylor got, that's a 36 to 26 advantage for SMU. So SMU prior to the death penalty was the more prominent program there in the Southwest Conference of the non-Texas Texas A&M variety. And SMU has put a ton of money into this program. We've talked about it in the past. They joined the Atlantic Coast Conference, and they accepted the fact that they're not going to get a full revenue share. They just want to be part of the club. And that's due to them having a number of exorbitantly wealthy donors. They've mined the portal. That's clear. They made it to the playoff last year. I know they lost at Penn State. That's a tough place to play. But the trajectory of this program is very good. Rhett Lashley is a very good head coach. It's at SMU. I think it's close. But if SMU at least watches the tape, you'll notice Baylor was not very good at tackling in that Auburn game. In fact, Auburn, I think, rushed the ball, 17 or 18 times for over 300 yards and was getting 5.9 yards per carry.
Goodness.
That's indicative of poor tackling and poor discipline in gap assignment. I find it hard that Baylor can correct that with such a short turnaround. So I'm going to take SMU in this game. I think it's close, but I think SMU pulls it out.
There you go. And to your point, if they're missing their gaps and backs are getting to the second level, SMU has some backs.
I mean, that last rushing touchdown for Jackson Arnold for Auburn, that looked like they were playing flag football or two-hand touch because, barely a fingertip got on him, and he rushed it in from, the 13, 12-yard line, something like that. That's you can coach them all you want, but if the linebacker is going to not properly pick the right gap and or not be physical and stack and shed, get off a block and make a tackle, then that's there's no amount of film study that can change that. That's on the player to know their assignment and then to be physical on the football field. And Auburn proved in that game they were the much more physical team, and they weren't running the most complex plays. By the way, it was pretty assignment based football, and Baylor did not pass that exam at all. So I'd be surprised if they can change that in such a short span of time.
That thing that's very interesting, and you brought a thought to me, is I wonder if Baylor's head coach is like Mark Stoops and he plays no contact practices.
Maybe if you don't want your guys to get injured, that's certainly a. But I'm from the old school. Iron sharpens iron. I think you gotta practice hitting. You build up those calluses, and maybe they weren't doing that. I don't know. I'm not going to speculate on how Dave Aranda runs practice. That's way beyond my bandwidth.
I just found that interesting. That might be a possibility of why they don't have the physicality they want. Though Dave Aranda at LSU, his teams did seem to have physicality, but they also had great secondaries. If the wrong read was made by the linebackers, then the secondary would wipe their ass for them, so to speak. And that's why I'm going to say that SMU is going to win the game. I believe that if they can't stop gap assignments against a simple Auburn offense that everybody's seen from Hugh Freeze the entire time he's coached at this level, Then,
Bob, how many times in that game did we see just a quarterback run, a designed quarterback run with Jackson Arnold? And,
yeah,
he's getting 5-6 yards to carry on that. I mean, that's atrocious.
he would just slip off to the left behind the center for a second, and then if the guard got any depth, then he'd follow him. I
Yeah.
mean, and that's all
That's
it was.
very,
That's basic.
point A,
That's
point A to
Pee
point
Wee
B football right there. That's like Pop Warner style.
That's Pop Warner, Pee Wee League, absolutely. I mean, that's fucking basic as it gets. And he wasn't dealing the ball away a whole lot. If you look, the rest of the team didn't get many carries from Robert, right? So sooner or later, you had to key on that. If I'd been middle linebacker, I'd have wanted to feed on that. And I can't believe that they never guessed it right. So that's a valid point, and that's why I'm picking SMU. I believe they are going to guess it right. And SMU is going to guess it right, and Baylor will be clueless because 1 week ain't going to fix that.
Yeah, I mean,
So
unless Baylor has a real, hell of a week of practice and Aranda, calls a team meeting, we have to be better than this. I can't see him winning the game. I would be surprised. Baylor has I will say this: the one thing they do have going for them, if this thing turns into a shootout, is they have a heck of a quarterback. He threw for. It's pretty rare in a lot of football games when you have a quarterback throw for 400 plus yards, and I think he
yeah,
had 3 touchdowns, and you lose. So
that's
that just tells
true.
you the defensive issues of Baylor.
I'm
So
thinking 41-31, Sean. That's what I'm seeing.
I do too. I definitely think this is going to be one of those old school SMU Baylor Southwest Conference high scoring type of games, and whichever team has the ball last, I think will win. But I think it's going to be SMU because they're at home. If this was in Waco, maybe I'd have a different pick. But home field advantage does attribute some things, and so give me SMU by field goal, 4 points, something like that.
All righty. What do you think, Doug?
Yeah, give me Smoo.
Smooth.
Give me Smoo on their quest for a second straight playoff appearance.
There you go. That's a hell of a quest, man. There's a lot of money behind it, and I know we're lingering on this game a little bit, but you have to think as far as the effectiveness of money spent, right? And then what college football has come down to is what you can do with the money that you can spend. So let's compare SMU's what they've done with their money to what Texas A&M has done with their money.
Oh, it's
And
humongous.
yeah, unbelievable.
Well, Texas A&M gave their money to Jimbo to go away.
That goes back to the Pony Express 30 for 30 there, Bob. When they go, we were all paying players illegally. The problem is they were jealous because we paid the right players that were good players.
Absolutely, I love that. That's what my favorite was because it's so sad what happened with SMU, and now we look at it and you can just play these guys, So
Jim Bob's not at Texas A&M anymore, Ed.
He's not there anymore, but he's still on the payroll, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
What does Jim Bob do these days?
Shit,
Same thing Ed Orgeron does. He just floats around to the different beaches and smiles and waves, laughs his way to the ATM machine with all the money he's got.
His last paycheck was pretty big.
If I win the $1 billion lottery that's going on right this minute, I'm telling you where you'll find me. Do you know where Florida Bay is, Doug?
Yes.
I'll be right in the middle of it, right, on a houseboat, right? And I'd have 2 airboats, about 10 jet skis all around me. You know what I'm saying?
I envision you, if you win that Powerball, Bob, you're going to be like Captain Ron. You're just living your best life, boat life, a couple drinks, listening to some good music, life's a beach.
Oh, yeah. That's right. I'm kind of already doing it.
Bob.
There you go. Oh, everybody's invited. That's usually everybody's invited, including you, Ed. So we got to look at another game. We're all in this. Doug made his pick. It's pretty much the consensus is SMU. And I know we talked about Cyhawk a little bit before, but we got to make our picks.
Is this what do you call this game?
So this is the High V. I believe High V is the sponsor. High V Cyhawk Cyclone Hawkeye Cyhawk rivalry series, aka Iowa's Super Bowl. And they do play for a trophy. It's got a Hawkeye and a Cyclone on the top of it, and big deal. It really is. This is, it's the series is Iowa leads 47-23, and the line right now is Iowa State at home by 3.5.
I think they should go with the Cornhole Bowl, but ain't nobody listens to me. And I'm going first on this one because I'm just itching to tell you that Iowa's going to win their 8th game in the last 10 in the series. That's what I feel.
Yes.
I feel I didn't look at any stats or anything. The only stat I looked at is 7 of the last 9.
You mean you weren't pulling a Ron Jaworski watching 36 straight hours of film of Iowa and Iowa State
I
football?
watched 36 straight hours of film, but it wasn't that film.
It wasn't.
It was porn.
Oh, yeah. That's too much. Ed, are you back with us?
Ed.
I never left.
Those anti-narcolepsy pills are doing wonders.
Yeah.
Ed, who do you like in the Skyhawk, man? Who you got?
I think he already said.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it was.
It was Iowa State.
Iowa State, because you like the quarterback.
Are you sure you don't want to go and change it to Iowa?
I'm sure.
God damn it, Ed.
Yeah, I'm going to take Iowa in this one. The games are usually close, but I just like Iowa's offensive line a lot more. I wasn't over. Iowa State squeaked that one out against Kansas State and Ireland, but they got pushed around a little bit, and I think Iowa will push them around even more. That's a very senior-laden offensive line, and I love the big uglies in the trenches. And Iowa is one of those programs that seems to annually produce, 1 or 2 guys that go to the league that are, you don't know their name. They all kind of have the same name, Bob Smith or whatnot. But man, they are maulers in the trenches at center and guard. They usually always have a couple of talented tailbacks. So on a close one, give me Iowa. I think they rushed the ball enough to win it by, we'll say it's close, field goal. But give me Iowa. Give me the Hawkeyes.
All right, I like that pick, and I'm going to go Iowa as well for pretty much the same reason. I believe they'll control the line of scrimmage, and their defense is good as well. There probably won't be a whole lot of points, so I'm saying 28-27 Iowa.
I bet we can make up some time in this next game, guys.
Bob, you got like a high-scoring affair there. Usually the Iowa State game is the first 1 to 20 wins.
Oh, I agree with that. I think the defense is going to score. I was going to do 25.
I like it.
I was going to do 25 because I think the possibility of a safety exists, but the odds are astronomical,
Yeah, usually we see something crazy in that game. Some safety, a block punt, a doink field goal. You just never know. So I do think it's going to be a great game.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I believe our viewers should watch it. It's just right at the perfect time, 11 Central, 12 Eastern. You get up, have your coffee, read the newspaper or whatever you're on, and go to Iowa State.
What's it like this time of year, Sean, in Eugene, Oregon?
It's beautiful. Oh, it's beautiful. Perfect time of year to go to Eugene, Oregon.
It's a rainy state, isn't it?
It is, but not this time of year. No. You got to wait till towards the end of October before the rain really starts. It should be perfect. Let's just we'll check out our friends over at certain weather app here. Let's just see what game's going to be in Eugene on Saturday. Eugene, Oregon. For Saturday's contest between the Oklahoma State Cowboys visiting the Oregon Ducks. They've only played once, I believe, in their history, and I think Oregon won it. It was a bowl game many moons ago. Yeah, perfect for the game on Saturday. High of 79, partly cloudy, no chance for rain. So it'll be lovely in Eugene for this game.
Fabulous. Well, guys.
So 15 years ago, this would have been a big one.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's funny. I think Bob kind of buried the lead because we were talking SMU Baylor, but his point of money ties into what Coach Gundy was talking about earlier this week. If anyone saw that in the news, did anyone happen to see?
No, but you was just stealing my thoughts, right? In
He,
my thoughts, I was like, how is
he was
Oklahoma? What's
he was
that?
essentially alluding to, and I found it a bit ironic considering he enjoyed many years of T. Boone Pickens helping the Cowboy program out with money. But now T. Boone, unfortunately, he passed away. He was in his 90s, and the money is sort of dried up in Stillwater like the oil derricks. And Oregon, unfortunately, continuously will have money because, right down the road from Eugene is Beaverton, Oregon, which I believe is the headquarters of Nike and their famous alum, Phil Knight. And so, well, these non-conference games, maybe we need to start looking at what programs are spending on NIL and have more equitable matchups. So, Gundy was quick to chide, Oregon for how much they are utilizing money in the NIL and the portal and whatnot. But I'm sure if he had the same luxury, he would take advantage as well.
He's just jealous, Sean. And
Yeah, I mean,
you know,
it's unfortunate. I mean, but you're the haves or the have-nots. You can obviously we've talked about this ad nauseum numerous times in the past, but sometimes you're the Yankees and sometimes you're the Minnesota Twins.
yes, absolutely. And for that reason, I don't believe that Oklahoma State has the Jimmies and Joes to play with Oregon. And I'm picking Oregon 35-20. What about you, Ed? Gregis, I know we got real quickest. Can you guys hear him?
I did.
That's
Yeah.
right. I make use of it. The show must go on. I make use of it. Whatever's going on. The crickets, Ed, it's all comedy. But it's serious if you're Oklahoma State at Oregon, right? You know what I'm saying, Doug?
Yes.
Yeah,
So,
I'm with you, Bob. I like Oregon comfortably. Call it 38-17 Ducks. They'll mess around for a little while in the first half, but the talent is too much, and I think Oregon handles it. I'm more interested to see how Dante Moore performs as Oregon's quarterback as they get ready for Big Ten play coming up soon. But I like the Ducks. I like the Ducks in this one.
hallelujah. Well, Doug.
Give me the Clucks. Give me the Clucks by 3 touchdowns.
I like it.
Yeah, I got them by 42-10. I know people are expecting a rebound year from OK State.
I'm not Ed.
But
No, I don't think any of us are. Ed.
I don't see it. I'm 42-10.
Mm. Yeah, the
and
reason
Autzen will be rocking. That's an underrated home field advantage in college football. Having seen a couple of games there myself, for 60,000 people, it gets very loud there, very loud.
And that kind of score makes the Mike Gundy presser must-see TV.
Yeah, he's starting to get a little kooky in his pressers here as things have gone from bad to worse in Stillwater.
Yes.
I mean, I heard he lost his job a few years ago. He's still there, so that's a win right there for him.
I mean, the question is, who do you replace him with? Who wants to go there right now? I mean,
Yeah. They're going to develop their own guy, basically. And who knows how that'll go.
That's what Gundy is. I mean, Gundy's an alum. He played there for him. I mean, I guess the only better option would be if you want to call Barry Sanders or Thurman Thomas and ask them if they want to play. They're famous Oklahoma State.
Those guys aren't interested in fucking.
But they're not. Yeah, I mean, they don't want to handle that. That's somebody else figure out that problem.
There you go. But I'm sure they're supporters of the program, and they would be influential in whoever was hired, though, or you would hope so, because they need somebody with a football mind around them.
I know we're pressed for time, and we want to get on to the next game. But isn't it crazy, real quick, to think about when we talked about? I think this was 2 years ago when we had all the conference realignment and whatnot, people were talking about Oklahoma State being like the king cheese of the new Big 12, right? Now that
Yep.
Oklahoma and Texas were gone.
Doomed their ass. Doomed them.
Doug remembers those conversations. And
I
I
now
do.
remember as well.
and now you're like, man, can they even compete with the likes of BYU, TCU, Arizona State, and Central Florida? I mean, it's not looking good right now. It's bad times in Stillwater.
Yeah, I agree with that. Absolutely. And it's just totally unexpected that you thought that they were positioned to rule that, you know.
How
I mean,
about this boy?
they're behind even, I would argue, Iowa State and Kansas State right now.
So when did T-Boone Pickens die?
I think 2019. Let me fact check myself on that. I don't want to be wrong for our humble listeners here. So T. Boone Pickens. I was right. 2019, and he was at the time of his death 91 years of age when he passed.
So it basically took Oklahoma State 5 years to run the program down after their main donor's death.
After their
Yeah.
sugar daddy left the
Yeah,
building.
I mean, and I'm sure they're not getting that money anymore. He had a total of count them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ex-wives also on the
Gee,
possibly the payroll.
Oh, that's
So
costly. That's costly, Sean.
that is very absolutely. So I mean, I think the T Boone money might have dried up there, and I don't know any other super wealthy donors to Oklahoma State. So yeah, I mean, it's got to be tough right now. And you don't also the other thing that's hurting them. They don't have that game with Oklahoma every year. The Bedlam game is gone.
Killer.
And that hurts recruiting is what you go, man, if that kid didn't get recruited by Oklahoma, I'd go to Oklahoma State. I'm gonna play those guys every year and show them, no, why would there be incentive for those kids in Oklahoma that don't get recruited by Oklahoma to go to OSU anymore? They don't get to play them. So now you're talking, they're going to go to places, Arkansas, Texas A&M, things of that nature, because they want to play Oklahoma. If Oklahoma doesn't recruit them out of their home state. So yeah, it's looking rough for Oklahoma State.
How about this border war, guys?
Ow, Missouri and Kansas. I mean, Kansas, in my opinion, is a bit of an up and comer, and Missouri's been at least solid and stable under Drinkowitz, and they're at Missouri, but I don't feel that's a great home field advantage. Have you been to Missouri, Sean?
I was supposed to, and I just couldn't quite. I was actually supposed to see Kentucky play Mizzou there in 2012, and I just couldn't quite make it work. I'd like to get there. I heard that now you're right, Bob. From what I've heard, the home field advantage isn't good, but what I have heard is good is Columbia Como, and they nicknamed the Como Kitties for a reason. There, the Missouri Tigers. The Columbia is a very fun college town to visit and spend a couple days in. They're working on that stadium there. I think it's Foro Field to make it a better home field advantage for Mizzou. With the influx of television dollars. But they've always had a pretty consistent program there through the years. I mean, hell, they got to the SEC and they at least made it to one SEC championship game right off the get go there with Gary Pinkel.
Yes, it's amazing.
I think they got beat by Auburn on one of those years. Doug could correct me if I'm. Was that 2013 when Auburn went and lost to Florida State? Was that the Mizzou team they played that year?
Yes.
Very strange because Mizzou came in along with A&M that year, and they put Mizzou in the East, which geographically you go, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that's strange. But yeah, it's not the loudest place in the world, but they love their Missouri Tigers, and Eli Drinkowitz has done a great job since he's been here of kind of turning the ship around, and they were minutes away from a couple of upsets here recently, and they're playing better. They had a pay to play game last week. I forget who they played, but they beat them like a drum, 61 other. The problem was from that game, didn't they lose their quarterback for the season? Didn't we see something that this week in the news that one of Mizzou's quarterbacks is done for the year?
I don't know. I think I heard that. I'm gonna look it up right now. Let's see. I'm gonna just do a simple search of.
Well, while you're looking up whether that guy is done for the year, we can say that this is the first time the two will have played since Mizzou left the Big 12 to join the SEC. This is very similar to Texas and Texas A&M until prior to last year. They hadn't played for years since they left that conference. But
He's out indefinitely.
yeah, indefinitely. So we're not going to see him for a while. And the one
No,
thing
that's
we
the
do know that
backup.
we've seen from Kansas this year
So,
is very good quarterback play from the Kansas quarterback.
oh,
In a game that we thought would be uh, fairly close there. Now I'm trying to remember from week 0. God, if we've already gotten down the road a little. Who did we see Kansas play? And we thought that would be a fairly close game. Oh, my God, getting old is hell.
last year, I remember the game you're talking about. Although was it Kansas State?
It's 2 weeks ago.
Oh, 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago here. I got to pull it up.
Well, anyway, I got to get to see it, Sean. So not only did Missouri lose their starting quarterback Blake Craig, but their backup Sam Horn got hurt and is out indefinitely. So now they're on the third stringer Penn State transfer Bo Pribula.
Yeah, that was the one that caused some consternation from one of our favorite coaches to lampoon on this program, James Franklin. Because remember, he hit the portal right before Penn State was set to play Notre Dame in the Orange Bowl in the semifinal.
Yeah, that was insane.
Yeah, he was not happy about that. But the players like, hey, I got to do what's best for me, because he knew Drew Aller was going to be the guy this year. So he's like, I got to go find somewhere where I might have a chance to play. And well, unfortunately, those guys got hurt. Now he's going to be the guy in Mizzou. But the team I was thinking of a couple of weeks ago that we saw Kansas dominate when they opened their stadium was Fresno State, 31-7, and that's
I remember that.
That's because Jalen Daniels, the 6th-year senior quarterback for KU, accounted for 3 touchdowns, and he's truly a dual threat, man. He can run it, he can throw it. The key for him is just staying healthy for Kansas. And they play for the War Drum Trophy in this one, and Mizzou leads this series 56-55 after 120 years of playing each other. Isn't that incredible?
Jeez. It's awesome. That's awesome stuff. Indiana, Kentucky had something like that going on. They quit playing each other. I thought it was maddening. But yeah,
we got to get that game back, Bob. We need that one back.
We need that one back. We got to have it. I think we got to have it. You got to have the 2 words.
I heard something today that this rivalry is pretty intense with the fans.
It all goes back. This is a kind of a Civil War era rivalry. This is.
Oh yeah.
You talk the reason Kansas is called the Jayhawk. They were called Jayhawkers. Going all the way back. Free state, slave state, Civil War. These 2 states don't really like each other very much, and it goes both football, basketball. This is a big deal in that part of the country. It doesn't get a lot of attention everywhere. It's not, Ohio State, Michigan, or Alabama, Auburn, but these 2 programs despise each other.
It sounds like that we should never have a year without this game, but we do.
We shouldn't. It was another conference realignment casualty that we've talked about.
Yep.
So
how are we feeling?
I guess I'm going to pick, and you're right about the performance of that QB, and Fresno State was a pretty good team. So I'm gonna pick Kansas 27-23.
What's the line on this game, if anybody knows?
The line on this game. Let's get it here. Where are we at here? Missouri is a 6.5-point favorite at home with a total. They expect some points in this one. Total is 51.5. So this could be a shootout.
And we're talking they're on their 3rd string quarterback now.
They are the transfer,
and
the backup.
Still favored.
Yes.
Nate,
Kansas is 2-0. Missouri is 1-0.
All right, give me misery.
misery. What do you got?
We'll call
It'll be
Ed.
a close,
Let's call
ugly
Ed
game.
back from the corn. Ed, get out of the
So,
cornfield.
so Kansas, during this mini resurgence over the past few years, has been poor on the road for the most part. And the game is at Missouri, so I got Kansas.
There you go.
I'm a
They're
ride
doomed.
with I'm a ride with Bob, Dr. Balls. I like this quarterback for Kansas. I think he's dynamic. He kind of is like a poor man's Lenore Sellers from South Carolina, but he is exciting. He's dynamic, and when Kansas has had him, they've been in every game. He's a 6-year guy, so I mean he knows it. He's seen it. He's when the pressure's down, he executes. So
The only
give
thing
me
that's ever slowed him down is his health.
is his health. Yeah, I mean if the guy could stay healthy, man, I think his draft stock would be higher. The problem is, it seems like they're holding him together with crazy glue and rubber bands and duct tape. But he's healthy now. He's playing good. Give me Kansas, close one, 38-37.
There you go. That's a high score. That'd be an exciting affair there. What do you?
Yeah, let's get a high. Yeah, it's not going to be a defensive struggle. We're going to get
And
some
we can
scoring there.
call this one Farm Burner.
Yeah, there you go.
I like that.
Everybody going on that one?
Yeah. We're split on that one.
All right, we got Ole Miss at Lexington, Kentucky.
Well,
we don't need to talk about this one, Doug. I'm just kidding, Bob. I'm just kidding.
Hey, now they beat Ole Miss last year at Ole Miss.
That they did.
And Ole Miss, though, is a 10.5-point favorite. So we'll get that out of the way with the over-under of 47. And the ESPN gives Kentucky, though, an 83% chance of victory, which I find interesting. And other predictions has us losing. But I do find it interesting that they say the offensive line has come together and that they can run block. And Kentucky has some running backs that I like, including the guy busting a 79-yard run. But I got to preface all that by saying that Kentucky played Toledo, right? But so the fact that UK has, instead of using the transfer portal to buy high-profile players, they've used them to buy guys that were champions at lower levels and had great seasons.
Champions of life.
Yeah, the champions of life, Division II, Division III, NAIA. I mean, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And they think that they can turn that into winning football. I just don't know, guys. But I do believe UK, if the defense is as good as they think it is, which they've been wrong a couple times lately. Even though Brad White is a great defensive coordinator, Kentucky has a chance in this game, but I'm still going to pick Ole Miss. 15 to 13.
Come on, Bob. You gotta be with the pitchforks and fire. This is disrespect. We're a 10.5-point dog at home to a team we beat muscled up last year in their own building. You're taking Ole Miss. Come on.
Well, that's so. If I pick Kentucky, they'll for sure lose. So if I pick Ole Miss, I mean,
reverse psychology, huh? There.
Beeman today, he kind of discreetly picked Kentucky to win this game. Well, what he said was when he was talking about Lane Kiffin for the Alabama job, like the possibility, and he was like, we don't want a guy that's not even going to beat Kentucky this week, and that's what he said. So, all right, we got Landon down for Kentucky here. Yeah, give me Ole Miss. I'll believe that Kentucky can beat a team like Ole Miss this year when I see it. And then when I see it, then the next time they play a good team, I may give them the benefit. I'm like Bob though. I just can't go Kentucky.
Oh yeah, 2-10 is my prediction for Kentucky, guys.
Yeah, I figured if you don't believe in them, then there's no way I can believe in them, Bob.
Yeah, because they've had teams in the last 5 years that had all the pieces as far as defense goes, and some other interesting pieces, and they just haven't used their transfer portal quarterbacks adequately. And not only that, the ones they've had were either overrated or badly coached. I don't know, but Calzada only threw I don't know if he threw 10 passes last week. You know, so I just don't know, man. I don't know if the line is as strong as some of the ones in the late teens that were able to push teams like Ole Miss around. They say they are. If I see that, I'll be highly pleased. But otherwise, I think Ole Miss is gonna win in a low scoring game. What do you think, Ed?
You know, I was tempted to pick Kentucky because I think that they're better than people are giving them credit for, including yourself. And I think Ole Miss is going to be a little bit down from last year, even though they didn't get to the playoffs as people expected. But Kentucky went into Oxford last year and beat them, and I think Ole Miss is going to remember that and win by 10.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. I don't. I think Lane Kiffin probably had this game circled on his, because if Ole Miss wins that game, they're in the playoff. And this time around, I don't think they'll get caught sleeping.
Not in this one anyway.
Not in this one. No, not in this one. More games to be played certainly throughout the course of the season, and they could certainly trip up, no doubt. But in this one, I think, unfortunately for Dr. Balls, I think Ole Miss gets it done. We'll call it 7, 24, 17, Rebels.
All
There
right,
you go.
So this USF at Florida, I'm sure that looking
How about
at
them
this,
Bulls, Raging Bulls?
man, this game looks better on paper than we would have thought it would have.
Yeah.
Mainly because of USF beating Boise down like they did, but Boise don't look too good. So,
And I think what we for whatever reason, I think we didn't. I don't know if Boise's that bad, but man, it is a long way to go from Boise, Idaho to Tampa, Florida, and boy, are those two different climates. And Boise looked winded quickly down in that humidity that is, Florida, quickly, and USF practices in that every day. But so does the Gators.
The problem for UCF is so does Florida, right?
Yeah, so do the Gators. So
Sorry,
now this
USF,
time,
not UCF.
they're not going to be able to kind of sneak up and have that decided home field advantage, because playing a team in the same state, and by the way, a team that has a decidedly better talent advantage.
Yep.
Oh yeah, they're at home, and Ben Hill Griffin Stadium is going to be or whatever it is. The fucking the swamp is going to be rocking, and they. I just don't know, man. And let's see if Lagway's for real, because I believe Florida can win even if Lagway gets hurt during the game. But I'm curious to see if Lagway progresses, because I felt he done a good job when he was in last year. They lost one game, and he's a dynamic player. He can throw the deep ball. Summer pick Florida. I'm saying 35-28 Florida.
So weird start time. This is a 4:15 p.m. kickoff Eastern time on the SEC Network. Number 13 Florida hosting unranked South Florida. Steve Spurrier Field at Ben Hill Griffith Stadium, the Swamp, as it's colloquially known as. Florida is a 17.5-point favorite in this one.
Damn.
And yeah, I think I do think Billy Napier has turned a bit of a corner. I don't think he's on the hot seat anymore. He might be later on in the season, but not this week. I think Florida is just vastly over talented. I think they cover that number. Give me Florida 41-14 over South Florida.
Damn it, Jim.
I think you're pretty close on that, Sean. I'm looking at something like 42-21. I think Florida doubles them up.
Yeah.
It's. I wanted to pick South Florida. I did. There were several upsets that I had on this list, and so far I haven't had the nerve to grab either. Well,
I think if you're South Florida, you should take it'd be a win if you don't let Florida cover. I think you know
Yeah, if
for
they
that
keep it
program.
within two touchdowns, it's going to be a good
I
day.
don't think that's the pregame locker room message.
No, Ed with a funny Ed from the rafters. Well done. No, that's great.
God damn it, cover! I got big money on this fucking thing.
Who's going to win, Ed?
You know, my first thought was that this is going to be a pretty competitive game, but it's not. Florida's defense is nasty. I think even though Byron Brown is a pretty good quarterback, I think they give him problems, and I think South Florida hangs around. Until fairly late in the first half, but I got Florida 33-10.
We all right. So I guess
Yeah, I mean, and that sets up good for week 3. Then we'll get unbeaten Florida, likely going to an unbeaten Miami. Miami plays Bethune Cookman this week.
Damn it, Ed!
Not
You
one of,
forgot that one, Ed.
not no, he did not one of our games of the week. So you're going to get likely a 2-0 Florida at a 2-0 Miami. That'll be featured probably in our week 3 games of the week.
Absolutely.
All right, so I heard Army lost recently. Who did they lose to?
The mighty, I don't know what they are, but Tarleton State from Stephenville, Texas. Yeah, they
That's
took
one of
Army.
Nikki's favorites.
That is one of Nikki's favorite teams, and they went into overtime with Army at Mikey Stadium there on the plain at West Point, and they kicked the field goal to go up 3, and then Army missed their field goal, and the game was over. And sadly, the Black Knights were not victorious, but kudos to Nikki and her Tarleton State. I'm gonna have to look them up. I don't even know what their nickname is. Let's see what their nickname is.
The Fighting Nickies.
They could be. They very well could be.
The K-Stones did not roll well.
Man, they went with a very original name, the Tarleton State Texans. They're in the they are in the where are they at now? They're FCS, and that's even worse for Army. They're in the United Athletic Conference of FCS. So
that could hurt Army, couldn't it?
yeah, well, that's could be a very long year for the Black Knights of the Hudson for sure.
Well, hold on, they got a chance to for redemption this week as they go to Manhattan, Kansas.
Kansas State doesn't have a win yet, so there you go.
Well, that's true, but I actually believe that Kansas is going to crush them early. It may be something like 52-6.
Oh wow!
I think it's going to be a more competitive game than that, but I think Army will figure out how to lose.
The line on this one is K-State 17.5, over under 47.5. It is in the Little Apple, Manhattan, Kansas.
All right, so I'm not even going to pick on this game. I'm picking Army to cover.
Army to just cover.
Yep, Army's covering. Army loses 23-10. No.
Man, as much as I wish I could join you there at K-State, excuse me, I was wrong. K-State does have a win. I forgot they played a game after losing in Ireland. I didn't think they had I thought they had a week off, but let's see who they beat. Oh, a barn burner. They beat North Dakota 38-35. They squeaked that one out against not North Dakota State, by the way. The University of North Dakota, the Fighting Hawks, formerly the Sioux.
Not as good on the resume, huh?
No, that's they really shouldn't be squeaking out wins against FCS opponents, particularly not great FCS
All right,
opponents.
here comes the Black Knights.
But here's the Black Knights, who also lost to an FCS program at home.
Yeah, but they learned a lot that day, Sean.
I hope you're right. I just can't ride with you on that one, Doug. Give me Kansas State 28, Army 7.
All right.
Ed.
Well, this is tricky because Kansas
Ed's
State
having
played
flashbacks of Army going to Ann Arbor and taking the Wolverines to the limit.
Well, that was a good Army team and a not terrific Michigan team. But and I was really worried that field goal was going to be good. So, Kansas State played a close game in Dublin against Iowa State, and then won a close one against North Dakota, who is respectable, but they're not North Dakota State. And then Army lost to Tarleton State.
Good.
So,
Had Nikki not reminded us where it's located, I would argue most of us probably couldn't find it on a map.
I think it's in New
I
York.
figured it was in
isn't it?
Tarleton, Texas.
It's in Stephenville.
God damn it!
Stephenville.
I was so damn
Okay.
close.
You were very
So,
close. Though.
I think that Army is going to bring their best after an embarrassing loss.
I feel you, Ed. That's exactly what I was thinking.
But I think Kansas State's going to win this one by 10 to 14 points. Something
So not
like
cover.
Make that 10 to 13 points, Ed.
Okay.
Yeah, because K-State's 17.5 right now. At least that's what ESPN's
Yeah,
telling.
if you're saying, oh, is it 17? Oh, no,
Yeah.
he's fine. He's picking them cover. Just like
I think something like, 28 to 14.
All right, so me and Ed both have Army covering.
Yep. Excuse me.
How about the Sun Devils heading 1,500 miles to the east to the state of Mississippi?
Excuse me.
Well, I don't know if Cowboys is going to be enough to help Mississippi State because they've been pretty bad lately. Does anybody think that they've improved? Mississippi State. I mean, I'm not hearing a whole
I
lot.
don't even recollect them from last year.
Did
Oh,
they?
they-
Did Mississippi State win a conference game last year at all?
I don't think they did. I'm going to check
The last
that.
thing that I remember Mississippi State doing was the year after freaking LSU won the national championship. They went and they played. Maybe Mississippi State played them in Baton Rouge to open the next year, the next season. And of course, Mississippi State won the game, and then Shannon Russell was like, "Mississippi State's a playoff team." Y'all remember that shit?
I remember, yeah.
And I was
Is that
I was
the
trying
one
to
I
tell her,
picked?
I was like, man, it just says more about LSU than it does Mississippi State. Keep watching. This Mississippi, and that was my Mike.
The ironic part of that story is that was Mississippi State won that game, and that started the streak of LSU losing opening games until this past weekend. And they finally won their opener at Clemson, and there was some little chatter this week in press conferences between Dabo and Brian Kelly. That was interesting.
Yeah, he's mad. I think Brian Kelly's mad that he gave both of them a poor score.
Yeah.
Goodness.
Yeah. He said.
I mean, it was pretty much we suck and LSU sucks too.
Yeah. I think he said both teams didn't. It's the first game of the year, and it'd be like a student on the first day of class getting their final exam. And Brian Kelly responded by saying, "I don't know. Did he watch the second half? We pretty much dominated them." So. That was an interesting tete-a-tete. Hopefully we get to see those two maybe again later this year. That would be fun. Little no love lost between Dabo Swinney and Brian Kelly there. But this one, to answer the question from earlier, no, Mississippi State did not win a conference game last year. They were 0-8 in the SEC, and they were 2-10 overall. And their wins were against Eastern Kentucky and UMass. They did play Arizona State last year out in Tempe, and Arizona State clawed their way to a victory 30-23. So that was a close one.
Yep.
Even though Arizona State then went on a run to win the Big 12 and get so close to beating Texas in the Peach Bowl in the CFP.
I want to pick Mississippi State here just because of the travel that Arizona's got to do. Arizona State's got to do here, and I might get enough fucking nerve by the time I come around to picking this. to do it. I just don't believe in Mississippi State, but I definitely believe in that home field situation, especially when another team has to travel 1,500 miles.
So right now, one, this is a night game there in Starkville. The Cowbells will be cowbelling. The line, Arizona State 6.5-point favorite, and they expect a shootout here with the total being 59.5. Both teams are 1-0 going into this one. Jeff Levy trying to get the Bulldogs of Mississippi State turned around after a disappointing season last year. Man, I don't know. This is a really tough game to pick. Ed, what do you think about this one?
I'm picking Mississippi State in the upset.
Ow! Get her down.
Well, I mean, Arizona State, I don't expect will be as good as last year. I mean, I realize their quarterback is pretty good, but Scadaboo really the heart and soul of that team because he could get the whole team energized by running over 6 guys on the other team when they thought they had him stopped. And that happened in the Texas game when they were behind. He just started bulldozing people, and they don't have that. And so I think that Mississippi State, with the whole hope springs eternal thing is still alive. The season's early, and they'll be excited, and the cowbells will be jingling, and I just got a feeling they're going to pull it off.
I think you do too, Ed, and I think the reason you do is because you're looking at this these games here, and you're seeing that if Michigan happens to win, you get Arizona State out of the way, and they're going to be ranked a little higher.
Oh,
is that correct?
No, that's not my thought process.
All right, give me Mississippi State as well. I'm doing this. I don't know, just call it a hunch. I think it'll be a real competitive game, and Mississippi State gets it done in the end.
Hallelujah.
I'm going to join you on that one, Doug. I'm going to go with Mississippi State with the upset. And the thing, it's a lot more humid in Mississippi than it is in Arizona by a lot.
Yep, and those Mississippi State players, they're used to it in Arizona State.
And there's also, as I checked the weather, 40% chance for rain on Saturday there in Starkville. And they definitely don't see rain in Arizona, that's for sure. So yeah, I think it feels like everything's kind of conspiring towards an upset win for the Bulldogs. Give me Mississippi State close field goal.
The Delta gods are at work.
Yeah, give me Mississippi State 24-21 in a grinder.
Oh, we're talking about ball handling issues early in the season. I love it, and I agree with you guys because of that and the stinking cowbells. And the humidity, I'm going to pick Mississippi State as well, 21-20.
All right, Austin Parrish.
But we reserve our right to allow Mississippi State to potentially go winless yet again in the SEC.
Absolutely.
I'm just kidding.
Should have invited Austin Parrish on tonight, and then he could have countered us.
I do hope Mississippi State gets back to somewhat respectability. Definitely losing Coach Leach like they did sent that program kind of into a bit of a tailspin. So shout out to Coach Levy. Hope things work out for him in Starkville.
All right, now we have arrived to the crack
the main event
game of the week.
The game of the week.
Game of the week.
So I never intended for this to look like a crack pipe when I highlighted this game. I swear, last week when I did it and I looked at it and I was like, that looks like a crack pipe. So we're just going to go with it, right? Every game of the week is the crack pipe game of the week now.
There you go. The crack pipe game of the week. And guys, these teams look a lot alike to me, and the way they want to play football and the kind of talent they have and the relative inexperience of their head coaches. And for me, it's real intriguing, especially Oklahoma at home. They keep saying they've improved on offense. They said that last year. And what's their coach? Mateen?
John Mateer is the Oklahoma quarterback transferred in from Washington State. He is the next great OU quarterback. If you listen to what's coming out of Norman, and week one certainly looked it, but
How does Bailey feel? I have not.
Oh, he loves him, and so does the media pundits all over the country. Supposedly he's in the top 10 of the Heisman early Heisman candidates.
He is.
Now, real quick sidebar here for this game. Michigan, Oklahoma are part of the 8 blue bloods of college football, as we know. And this matchup here, probably the least seen matchup of all the blue bloods combined. They have played exactly one time.
14-6.
1975, Oklahoma was the winner. And then that's been it for two programs that have played a lot of college football between them. They haven't played each other just one time in the Orange Bowl, January 1 of 1976. Oklahoma and Barry Switzer defeated Bo Schembechler and his Michigan Wolverines, in a slugfest, and that's the time these two have locked horns.
I probably watched that game because the Orange Bowl parade. I always watched the Orange Bowl parade, and then they went right into the game.
Well, Ed was there, and Ed was yelling at Bo Schembechler for some of the play calls. So, I mean,
I was used to his teams putting up about 6 points in bowl games by then. So,
so Ed, Ed, this is your game, man. Tell us about this one.
So I'm picking Michigan. Now, I will say this. If I was doing one of those ESPN bowl challenges, it would be one of my lesser confident picks. The two keys to the game are our running game. How it does Justice Haynes break out again, albeit against better competition than the New Mexico Lobos. And
geographically, Michigan is slowly moving east. They got New Mexico out of the way. They got Oklahoma this week. Bob, watch out. They're probably playing Kentucky next week.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding.
But the other key will be our defense. I think that Underwood is the real deal, but I think
already you're saying he's the real deal, Ed. After it's New Mexico and it was in the big house. Come on.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. He played mistake-free football. He's got a big arm. Yes, I believe he's the real deal. However, it is a little bit early in his career to expect him to be able to win a shootout on the road against a quality opponent.
I thought you were getting ready to say it was a little too early for you to finish your work on his 2025 Heisman Trophy. That's why.
No, I don't think he'll be in the running for it this year. He could very well be in the top 10 next year.
But you got to be upset about this then, because isn't he the $13 million man? That
11.
11. Oh, well, sorry.
Yeah.
But what's $1 million among friends, right?
So I have us winning as long as we can keep the game in the 20s.
You give us a score on that, Ed?
27-23.
Oh,
wow!
I think it plays into Oklahoma as well, though. They want a game.
I was gonna say they like to keep the game low scoring, at least as of last year. I mean, that was their calling card, was the defense and Brent Venables.
Yeah, but they're going to be throwing it all over the yard.
Well, yeah. Well,
what do you think about this one?
I think Oklahoma's going to win. I think that their quarterback, I unwittingly called him coach, but I think their quarterback is good, and he would have been the difference. Last year they had horrible ball handling, especially against Alabama, and even when they got something going, they couldn't capitalize on it because of turnovers. A lot of them sheer stupidity and bad ball handling, and if they just cure that with Michigan,
I think you're thinking of the Auburn game, not the Bama game.
Yeah, they didn't have good ball handling against Alabama either, though. But
I mean, yeah, maybe not, but
That game wasn't very close because of the more mistakes Alabama made than anything Oklahoma was doing.
Oh, they recovered from it quickly. That's just something that happened early in the contest, you know. But
I think most of their scoring drives against Alabama was because they started with the ball in Alabama territory.
yeah, because their ball handling was even more atrocious than Oklahoma's. And
Yeah, I mean, the game that I think that they really showed, how inept Oklahoma was on offense. Which, man, rarely would you have heard that when in previous years, but was that Tennessee game? They looked absolutely lost against Tennessee at home, by the way. But I think they've maybe turned a page on that.
Yeah.
With the new quarterback, and they brought in a lot of guys in the portal. And that defense will still be that. That's the one thing with Brent Venables. The defense will be there.
Yeah, I believe Michigan's
And
defense is going to be there as well, though, Sean. And Michigan loves, and the difference to me in the game is both teams want to. He says they're going to throw over the yard, but I don't think that Michigan resists. I think they're going to try to pound the football, and they have to score doing that, or I believe they'll be behind. And that's why I've got Oklahoma 28-27.
that's razor close. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Michigan's a good team. I think they're a solid football team, and the difference is that Oklahoma will be at home, and I like their quarterback better than I like Michigan's quarterback because I believe they can do both the same thing. Otherwise, it might even be crazy, guys. This might even be like some 13-10 silliness or something like that. That's a possibility.
So as I look at this is under the bright lights at Owen Field. I know they've got like 18 different names for that stadium. I call it the old one, Owen Field, there in Norman. 80,000 plus strong Boomer Sooner fans, maybe a few maize and blue Michigan men make the trip down. It's ABC's game of the week, so we'll get Fowler and Herbstreit on the call on this one. Hopefully, unlike Monday night's game, Peter Herbstreit's dog doesn't have to take over the controls there, and we see a good game, not a blowout again. But I just think, and OU, by the way, is the 5.5 point favorite in this one. The experts expect a lower scoring game. 45.5 is the over under. The weather in Norman Saturday night under the bright lights. Let's check the weather report here real quick.
Jim Cantori's on our side.
Norman, Oklahoma, Saturday night. Perfect conditions. Kickoff, it should be about 69 degrees, slight wind, no chance for rain. So, Oklahoma with material is probably going to try to air it out. They have a good quarterback, good receiving core. I just think, Underwood is as talented as he is, having to go on the road and the bright lights, after, basically a scrimmage against New Mexico last week in Ann Arbor.
That game was
I
more
like
competitive
Oklahoma.
than it needed to be.
Yeah, and that too. And I just don't think Moore is a great big game head coach. Give me the Sooners by 10, 34-24 there in Norman.
What are you thinking, Doug?
I got to go with the Sooners at home. I'm thinking 24-17.
Hallelujah.
And so is Ed the only Michigan pick here?
As far as I know.
He's a Michigan man, and he's taking.
God bless you, Ed. You stuck with your team.
God bless you.
If you checked our, by the way, there's only 3 of us in the Smacking Off Pick'ems. You guys are free to join. Not like any of us.
I'm in it now.
Not like any of us had a banner week last week. But
No.
Did you see my 10-point pick last week there, Doug?
10 point. What do you mean?
My 10-point selection.
No, which one?
No, I went with my team, and we were close. 3 points, dude. Almost. Shoulda, woulda, coulda.
So you did go with you went with Notre Dame in the pick'ems?
Yeah, Notre Dame for the 10. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see that because you did the opposite in your picks for the show.
Yeah, for the I usually do the opposite I got to throw off our resident Vol fan that's in the group. So,
But realistically, that loss is only going to have an impact on their season and the seeding in the playoff.
Yes.
well, it depends on what we do against A&M. Not this Saturday, but the following. You know, like I said in the chat, Notre Dame lose to A&M in a week and a half. We're going to start looking at ACC bowl tie-ins real quick. So, because you just don't have after that A&M
It
game.
gets dicey when they're not.
You're
in
going
a
to have to
conference.
win. You're going to have to win out to have an argument. And the problem, again, after the A&M game is you go, there's not a lot of meat left on the bone. You're going to be hoping that Arkansas is good. You're going to be hoping Pitt is good, and you're going to be hoping USC is decent. But no, suddenly quickly the A&M game becomes a very important game in not quite 2 weeks. But,
That was it was a tough game though. No, I mean a 1 point loss to Miami. I mean,
three point. They kicked the field
3
goal
point.
right at the end, and
That's right.
proud of the
Miami.
fight. And the funny thing is, we were talking prior to that game, in the prognosticating we were doing. Hey, can Notre Dame do anything with this redshirt freshman quarterback on the road making his first start? He wasn't the problem. It's surprising he was not the problem. It was everything else that was the problem. So, and then
So is the U back, Sean? Because there's a lot of people saying that today.
I think we're going to find out when they play Florida. And I think that's going to be a hell of a game. But the thing that people seem to forget, Miami has invested quite a bit in their lines of scrimmage, and that's where they were really the most impressive to me. Beating Notre Dame was their play on both sides, defensive line and offensive line, especially the offensive line. We know what we know about Carson Beck. You have to protect him for him to be efficient and good.
Yeah.
And they did that. Now, can they do that against Florida's defensive line? That's a big question. If they answer that question in a positive way, then I'll say they're back. I'm not going to quite say that just yet. But if they beat Florida, then I'll say that. But we've been saying that for so long, and they've been in the ACC now for, 22, 21 years, and they still don't have a conference title to their name in football. So we're going to just say that the jury is still out on the U being back.
I will say this back to their line. They were dominant run blocking. That's what really impressed me.
Absolutely, they were.
All right,
So, guys,
so hopefully week 3 will be a better slate of games, and I don't think it couldn't be any worse.
This goes, but Doug, this goes back to what we what we talked about in the summer in our try to keep people interested in college football after baseball got done. This goes back to people want to talk SEC versus Big Ten. That's not the rivalry you need to talk about. The rivalry is the Disney family of networks versus the Fox family of networks. And you're going to have these weeks where it's a lonesome, dusty trail of games so they can maximize the weeks where we want all the viewers on our networks. And we'll, so this week, not the greatest. The next week's a little better, but then the last weekend of September is absolutely bananas loaded, and I'll let you guys look at it after we get done here. But yeah, you're going to have weeks where it's dry, the well is empty, and then you have weeks where it's a torrential downpour. It's just, and that's simply because of the networks. And the other thing with college, unlike the NFL, is the TV schedules are only made through the first 3 weeks of the season, and then if you go in and you look at the schedules, all the game times are TBD from the rest of the season.
interesting. Yeah, because they're doing they're slotting. What do they call that? The NFL flex scheduling.
The NFL does flex scheduling, but the NFL does it towards the end of the season. So Sunday night football and Monday night football, you don't get two teams that are already completely out of the playoff chase. quick.
Hey, guys, I got to jump off. I'm sorry.
Bye, Ed.
All right.
Feel better. Love
Night,
you, buddy.
everyone. All right, bye.
All right. No, I mean, I'm pulling it up real quick. Let's see here. Week 4. Where is it? Week 5. Yeah. So week 5, which is September 22nd through the 28th, and you go to Saturday matchups on ESPN. Every game right now under the time slot is TBD.
Goodness.
But for a few games that are set in stone, and that's so the networks can battle it out. Which is ABC's primetime game that week is Alabama at Georgia,
Goodness.
and then the Big Ten is countering with their NBC Here Comes Big Ten Saturday night, which is Oregon at Penn State. So those two will battle out for viewership. The rest of the slate is basically TBD.
Damn it.
So I mean,
Interesting.
like even right now, a game that could be a great game. Auburn is at Texas A&M, and Auburn should be unbeaten going to that game. A&M depends on what they do at Notre Dame, but that game is even TBD. We don't know what time that game is going to be. Bob, your Kentucky Wildcats at South Carolina. That could be a good game. TBD. We don't know what time. So now we're going to get into this week by week. Who can, and there's 3 time slots that these networks want to control. There's the noon, there's the 3:30 Eastern, and then there's the 7:30 Eastern. So, it's unfortunate for the fans that are going to these games because they don't know. They're trying to plan their travels and their trips and whatnot, and you don't know if there's a big difference between a noon Eastern game and a 7:30 p.m. Eastern game.
Absolutely.
So,
all right, guys. Bob, you got anything to say before we kick off?
Yeah. Share, like, subscribe, and get some merchandise. Me personally, I bought some. I'm going to be wearing Smacking Off the Podcast merchandise.
you're not cool, right, Dr. Balls, if you don't have a Smacking Off the Podcast t-shirt.
Oh, yeah, the hat. Yeah, worth the hat, too. Absolutely.
Hat, too. Yeah, get a hat.
Yes. Get her done.
All right, guys.
Great show, gentlemen. Enjoy the game.
Your team sucks donkey balls coming Sunday. Should be interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't wait.
Night.
Smacking off the podcast. Fuck your city, dog balls. Because sports authorities.
Thank you for supporting Smacking Off the Podcast. Make sure to stream in every Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time for an all-new live cast.
Smacking off the t-shirt, smacking off the hat, smacking off the water bottle. Buy 'em or you're a dirty bitch. Smacking off merch is ready to go, so buy them or your wife's a dirty whore.
Don't be a dirty bitch. By smacking off merch at bonfire.com/store/smack